Greetings. This is Zanno Thanalis, a 2000-year-old vampire playing games, learning things, and doing whatever else. Also, hi, hello, this is me, a guy, not doing a voice this time. But also playing games, learning things, and doing whatever else. So this is definitely going to be like, I titled like an OOC instead of where the game normally goes, because I'm dropping the voice. It's been a voice, if you have not noticed. Good job, question mark. Uh, Kind of weird thing I did and then didn't know how to stop. Uh, but yeah, just trying to make it a little lower, a little more, I don't know, vampire refined, I guess, sounding. Uh, I think it probably hurt more in the long run, just because it meant it felt less natural, and I was trying to be like kind of be in that kind of mindset when I was doing things, and so it wasn't just willing to just I don't know, let loose with stuff, be more chaotic, whatever. I think I got better at it by the end, but yeah, here we go. Yeah, so this is I guess to get into it, uh I first hold on, I'm gonna grab and pull something up because this is gonna be uh a longer one. Turn that down a bit. This is gonna be a not longer one is just me talking. I want to get some actual background music. Link to that is in the description. There's a little surprise there. But yeah, so I first started at 5 a.m. It was summer 2022. I couldn't sleep, had been trying for hours, and eventually just got up and was like, okay, let me just do something. And I've had you watch streamers, watch YouTube, whatever. You got things in the back head, ooh, could I do this? What would it look like? How would it be if I did this? Had that in my back for a while because I watch VTubers, different streams like that, and that kind of idea of reaching out and having an audience that way and creating things that make people laugh or I don't know, occasionally cry. That's probably happens less often, but most just the idea of entertaining people. And when VTubers did it, there's kind of the mask between them. Whereas here's the fake persona, and there's stuff that goes through, and a lot of it is the real person. But there's that element of separation there, which is really appealing to me because I'm very much on the maximum privacy and no as little personal information gets on the internet as possible, just because I don't need that. I don't want that. I really don't want people knocking on my door, sending weird emails, anything like that, whatever. So the idea of having a fake persona, kind of chill behind, is there's part of it's very alluring. So I was like, okay, so welcome, fine, it's 5 a.m. What am I gonna do? And I just started writing down ideas and putting stuff into writing. Let me actually hop over to the main thing. I might go back to that storm gif with the weird fractaline brokenness at the bottom a bit later. But for now, I want to pull up this. Here we go. So this is the lore document that I put together at 5 a.m. and then refine changing stuff later. But yeah, you can kind of see basics of stuff here. A lot of this never, not important, does not matter, never brought up. I've got a whole reason for how what vampires are, where they come from, and details about how vampirism works specifically. Fake backstory. Very much and I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but this is what I did that first time is, okay, what is the story here? What's the idea? And so much stuff just wasn't mentioned. Something else that I started working on early is I'd seen VTuber debuts, hey, we're from this group, you already know about the group, you follow the group, so we're going to introduce ourselves, people are going to tune in because they know about the group and want to see what more is coming from them. Where I was just streaming and did not have that group or pre-existing audience to come and look at things, I still start with do I want to try doing something similar of hey, this is who I am, even just a short version of hanging at the top of the YouTube channel. And I had a script and I had a PowerPoint working on, and I was gonna see if I could get that done. And then actually, yeah, I didn't do that now. And I moved into the place where I'm currently at, and I knew I had about a year in front of me to like where I didn't have like I still had work, but I didn't have like a ton of other like things pulling at me or like other things I need to do. And I already had a decent microphone and like moving blankets, I guess, for like audio baffling. But I had the possibility to like set something up where like, okay, this could work. And like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I was like second guessing myself. I was dabbing stuff like, do I actually want to do this? What's the move here? Like, is this even something I want to do? Is it stupid? What's the point? So this is the first thumbnail and little miniature icon thing I put together for the first Darksider stream, which is the first stream I did. First thing I'd ever like, you could say quote unquote content, whatever, that I actually put out on the internet in any way. And it's horrible. It's awful. It looks so bad. I put that together in like a kind of like not quite MS Paint, like the one level above that, but very, very basic like software. And just like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I can't worry about the debut introduction or the script. If I don't do it now, I'm just gonna keep on second guessing, delaying it. So I literally put this together and like, I think half an hour later started a stream. I still actually have in Streamlabs the where is it? Where to put it? Oh yeah, here we go. The little death count. If I can. Did I? What did I do with that? I did. Yes. Okay. How am I? Oh, come on. Let me grab the right thing at least. Here we go. Where I was like, okay, this is something I can do. It's like not a kind of gag. Maybe a bit might be close. Like something that I can get reference back to, keep something up and running throughout the entire stream. End up dying 21 times in that game. You know what? I'm actually kind of happy about that. Like that could have been a lot worse. I am not a gamer, you could say. Like I play video games, but I'm not good at them. I don't put myself in that way. I don't like, rest. What's the thing of putting in like my self-worth and like how good I am to them, because I'm not, and that would just be self-destructive. So only dying 21 times, like I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's the first stream though. But now going back in time a little bit. Also, that's actually what the storm GIF was for. I was gonna have for the introduction, I have a plot, not a plot, a script, where started there trying to be like all dramatic, and switched over to like a different screen and like toned it back a lot. But and then I just didn't do that, and just still had this GIF loaded as like one of the scenes like was switched to in Streamlabs. Since actually, I originally thought, not originally, I'd forgotten when I started and thought I'd started streaming in October, and I went to like double check like some dates and stuff and information before the stream, and was like, wait, August? I started doing it's been 11 months. So that was a bit of a shock to think. I thought it was about 9 months, but no, 11, and it's been fun. Okay, more original plans. Details. Let me switch back to this actually. The name Zanno Thanalis came because I was trying to think of what's a name that has good pun potential. That's literally where it came from. Thanalis at the end, a little bit less so, but I wanted stuff that like could have like extra word or stuff like attached up down to the end. Anyone who's looked at like the Twitter, which is probably nobody, honestly, which is fine because it's literally just the stream updates. I do nothing else with social media. I've never been good at it, which I'm not going to really change that now for this. But the like hashtag I've been using for like stream updates is ZanNotify. Then I had another one which was Zan News, which I used like twice because I wasn't quite sure when to use it because I only ever used it for like, hey, I'm taking a break, and I'm like, or like I was streaming that day, and it makes more sense to put that one in the Zan Notify. But anyway, so it's Notified News. It's gonna have like a Zan Nope potentially, and stuff like that. Like, and also Thanalis, sound kind of like Thanatos, death, of course, vampire, yada yada. So that's where the name came from, is because originally there's going to be so many more puns. Top line of the description of this video. I didn't do as many as I thought I was going to, honestly. I got a couple in here and there, but not as much as I had originally been planning. Oh yeah. Sorry, I've got actual notes here. I'm still checking to see like what I wanted to mention on. Like I said, inspired by like VTubers like that. And I originally did try and start seeing like, okay, what does it take to get 3D modeling? I like wasn't going to pay anything for anything for this whole thing. It was just going to be a hobby, a side thing I did for fun, and I didn't want to like pour a bunch of money into it. So I'd like, okay, what do they have for 3D modelers? Free 3D modeling software. And I looked into them, and I tried them out, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't draw things on my own. And the 3D modeling was also like, I don't know what's happening or what's going on here. So I tried that for I think like 2 days, like to learn how it worked, and just was like, nope, it's not happening. So then the thought was going to be, okay, PNG tubers, I think is the term for like, okay, you've got just a picture, and it kind of like lights up to see like when they are talking, as we kind of switch between different like emotions. I'm, as you can tell by the not good at art. I've gotten a little better just like using basically using Photoshop and like figuring out how the tools work and stuff, but actually drawing things still not good at, still cannot do. So I knew that I couldn't make my own icon, didn't want to use artwork that someone else had made. Also, everything in this screen and basically that I've used for anything, I've always tried to make sure as much of it as possible is either free use or made myself. There's some combination of the two. Because I didn't want to get into anything weird with like using someone else's like artwork or photos or something they created. So even like the introduction screen, which is a really cool looking like wizard table, technically free to use without attribution, but I was impressed and it was useful enough I attributed on like the main little scroll thing there. I tell it actually really quick. That like it's meant to be like rain falling like transition. That took me a while, but I did make that myself. Trying to get like, okay, what looks vaguely like rain, get the sound going. Honestly, looking at it now, I feel like I could probably do a better job. I tried something new, but just have never bothered to try and change it or improve it. But yeah, but instead of, so let's go figure out, okay, I can't have artwork like change show emotions. What can I do? I was like, okay, showing emotions. What shows emotions? Aha. What's better than the people everyone recognized than like emojis? So I had a bunch of emojis loaded up that I think I limited myself to about 10. And I was going to try and see if I could, I'm showing a couple of them off here, if I could sync them up to where if I hit a button, it would toggle them on or off while I was doing it. And it's been long enough that I can't make it work now, but I did figure out a way to do it, where I could hit a button and one of these things would light on, would turn on, and hit a button again and it would go away. And I was super proud of that. And I tried actually using it, and it did not work whatsoever, because I wasn't able to sync up when I was trying to have the motion hitting the button and making it show up. And also, if I was playing any game that used the keyboard, that would instantly mess up whatever's happening. Even if I didn't use the number keys, I still tend to have a limited number of buttons I can press, and often that would mess things up. I'm trying to reach over and hit a button while hangs on the keyboard, etc. Did not work out. Ended up ditching it and just keeping them as unused assets in a different scene for until now, basically. And that's where the thing where the little icon comes up from the changes, depending on the game and how far through it I am. Because I was like, okay, I want to have something here. I set aside stuff for this, and then it didn't work. Something better than nothing. So that's for the first, I think, I think the icon honestly was from the second Darksider stream. Because like, okay, emoji didn't work. Let me put something together that can just sit there. So that's kind of my, I don't know, backup's not right, fallback, last resort maybe. We're like, okay, what can work here? But yeah, I always knew this was going to be like a kind of, this was just going to be like a side thing for fun. I've seen like or heard about some people who start streaming and like just take off and work on and like just become big leagues, get a bunch of followers, whatever, can start doing it full time in like a matter of months. Other people I know work at it for years and just try and get like, okay, maybe they've got like 1,000 people watching them, and that's like decent numbers. That's like side job territory. Like, hey, do this a couple times a week, bring in some money, and that can like support like just a different job or way of like getting by. Let me scroll this down a little bit in case anyone's actually bothering to read this. Get all of it. Honestly, I'd probably go back and change things if I did it now. But hey, 5 a.m. ramblings for the win. Gotta stick with it. But yeah, this was never going to be even a side job for me. This was always going to be a thing like, I can play some interesting or fun video games and try and get better at the stuff of like streaming, audio equipment and stuff like that, and just putting something out there. Because I was feeling kind of like creatively not exhausted even. I guess, self-doubting maybe. Where like I'll write things, I'll make things, I'll try and make things at least, and then I'll feel like I get burned out or like fail, just not good enough, and I'll give it partway through. And this was my time to like say like, okay, it might not be like the main thing that I want to do, but I'm putting something out there, something that I put my time into exists out in the world, and even if nobody else like ever looks at it or enjoys it, it's something I did, and if I enjoy it, then that's enough, and it's there for everyone else. Which is why I actually did this on YouTube instead of on Twitch, which I know is, I think, more likely to get you a starting like audience potentially. Because when a lot of people go just for if you're going to Twitch, you're going there for streams. YouTube's got a bunch of other videos and then also tangentially streams. But I didn't want to. I knew that Twitch has a thing where like VODs go away after a certain amount of time, and I didn't want the stuff to ever just like disappear, and I also didn't want to like go all the work of like downloading it then re-uploading it to YouTube. And YouTube just does it automatically. You can stream, and then the videos will just still be there. So I did that instead, even though it might give like less outreach, and I was fine with that. Brief thing is that another plan I had from the very beginning of starting is I was going to, at some point, the thought was play a Castlevania game. And I've never played a Castlevania game before, at least not more than like the first like half hour of it. And I was going to be playing a Castlevania game and like, trying to beat it. And on the other monitor or on a phone or something, I was going to have a list of every enemy in the game. And there are hundreds of enemies in these games. And I was going to have that list, and I was going to try and see if, as secretly as possible, without anyone in the audience picking up on it, die to every enemy at least once. And then at the very end of the game, go and fight Dracula, die to Dracula, go, well, that was refreshing, and shut off the game. And that was going to be the goal, and see if I could keep that like hidden or disguised. Part of the fun of that was reliant on having people who would actually watch and react and like care about like, wait, is this happening? What's going on here? And that never really happened in like the terms of audience and stuff. And also I tried I had like a Castlevania collection a while ago for stuff like, I think some Steam sale, something like that. Had like 3 games in it. And I tried them, and the port was really, really bad. And like the controls were weird, and like I couldn't get it to play or stream right. So I was like, okay, never mind, I guess. And besides, Castlevania games are like, they're not like, $60 modern AAA games long, but they've got some like decent length to them. So I think by the time I was like, okay, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to be able to do it. It was like, okay, so going to be up to 10, maybe more streams. Or it's like, okay, just that then is pushing out a lot of other things. I think Dishonored ended up only being 8, right? And that one still felt like it went on for a couple of months because of some breaks and also, Persona every week. Okay. Next up is I've mentioned streaming basically out of a closet before. So now I'm going to provide actual proof. This is a picture I took of the streaming space. That there over there at the end is the backup laptop I have, which I use just to like have like the streaming software up so I can see if it went down, if anything happened in chat, etc. I'm standing in the doorway of the closet, so it looks actually a little bit bigger than it is. If you draw a line from like the corner of the blanket just below the laptop, and then about like a 45 degree. Okay, so if directly to the right is 0, then it's a 315 degree angle down is about the room I actually have. Because you see like the white cord there, that's where the microphone's going to be. So, and really, really not very big. I also have the actual laptop I stream from in there, plus a couple of things to like rest stuff on. So I've been mostly curled up a lot of the time, which is why I tend to only stream for about 2 hours, because especially starting off, I didn't have anything to put the laptop on, so it was literally in my lap, weighing me down and like pushing my legs for those 2 hours. Which meant that by the end of 2 hours, I got like, it was really aching and like could not move well. So I was like thinking like, okay, I am in pain, time to stop the stream. And then by the time I like got stuff a bit more figured out and had it work a lot easier on me, I was like, might as well stick to it. It's a good time frame. It means I know like when I'm starting, when I'm ending. And I don't need to be streaming for like 6 hours. So I've honestly been content with the 2 hours. I think it's worked out well. Even if it started off as like kind of a like forced limitation, it's meant that I can do things like, okay, I know exactly how long I'm going to stream, so I can stream and then do something else later on in the day, which I have many, many times. Another thing though is that the audio settings I've had for the stream have been very, very bad for the vast majority of the time that I've been streaming. I haven't really had like microphone audio set experience before. So when I'm like first setting it up, I went through and like filters, like a noise gate, extra gain, stuff like that. I was like, ooh, let me mess around with that kind of stuff. And I did. And I didn't look up what the actual settings should have been. And then to top it all off, I had the actual microphone set up really, really bad. So I'm going to show this. This is what it was like for most of streaming. The pop filter, which I had, was off to the side, out of the way. I would often use it to like hold back a cable that's like dangling from the ceiling. Oh yeah, because the light you can see in these pictures and that I have while I'm streaming, that is a phone. For a while it was the phone I used. Now it's a different phone because I got a new one. But the old phone, suspended from the ceiling, plugged in with the flashlight on. This ruined its battery life, and is why I had to get a new one because, as it turns out, having the flashlight on and still endlessly charging for 2 hours a couple times a week did not help it last longer, surprisingly. I know. But then you can also see, like, I have the foam cover for the microphone on. And I think it was literally like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, that I looked at that and had the thought, wait, what if that's just to keep it safe in packaging and doesn't actually affect, like, and the quality is actually better without it, or wind baffling. So like the wind doesn't like hit it directly and like mess everything up. And so I fixed some settings and I actually looked up what like noise gate, what those things mean, like the attack, hold, release, and set that to hopefully a much more manageable thing. So it's picking more of what I'm saying. And this is stuff I might have picked up on if I'd actually gone back and been like listening to like the streams afterwards. Which I very, very rarely did. I think there was one video, I think it was the Escape Simulator, where the stream went down partway through. I had to restart it, and I went and I stitched those two videos together and uploaded them as one video. But for the most part, I just never did, because it feels bad. Which is, I think, not too long ago, but just, yeah, the whole like recording voice and hearing it doesn't sound good, especially when you're trying to do like a different voice. And yeah, just because it was a hobby, I was like, I don't want to spend hours putting myself through something that I don't enjoy for like no real reason, but actually there would have been a reason. It would have been improved audio quality. So that's on me. That's on me from the past. Okay. Next up, I'm going to mention a couple of the streams that like the things while doing this that I started and then didn't finish. Number one, a bunch of games. BioShock, but without killing or saving any little girls. Hack is another early one. Inscription was another one. Games were like starting like, hey, let me try this out. I was like, oh, this was fun. I want to do it more. And then just played other games instead, or got in different series like that. Those were the ones that like I was fun, but was always like, okay, do I want to come back to this now, like months later, or do I want to, like, just work on something else or different series that might work out better? And I always, like, almost always chose the last one. The one that I think kind of skirted the line on this was the Resident Evil Revelations, where that one I think would be about a month between streams, maybe a little less than sometimes. I'm like, okay, this feels like a good time where I can come back to it. It's been a little bit, so I may have forgotten a couple of things, but it's not just like entirely lost and stranded and forgotten everything. I think that's kind of a sweet spot. I wanted something, and like if I came back to other games, I want to be on a kind of similar, like longer term schedule. But only streaming twice a week for a couple of hours meant I didn't get through a lot of games. So some of the games are like, okay, if I want to play like BioShock, that would have been, again, not sure how long that game is exactly, 15, 16 streams to get through that. And I was always like, do I want to spend that much time instead of something different, like shorter or a one-off? The couple long ones I did, the two biggest ones that comes to mind is Persona 3 and Your Turn to Die. We're like, okay, this is the main, this is the long-running series. And the other one, once a week, is like kind of just to keep it up and like have something else going on. So it's not like just all Persona for 6 months or whatever. A couple other things actually is ones that like I did and had a fun time with, and then kind of wasn't sure what to do after that. And that's like the Etymology 101 stream, which I think is still pretty decent, but probably wouldn't hold like an actual like linguist's like analysis of it. But I think it was fun to be like, hey, this is something that I'm interested in and I want to talk about because I think it's cool and not a lot of people know about it. It's kind of similar vein was like the Greek mythology ranking video, which I'm pretty happy with. I don't feel like it was very entertaining as much as it was just kind of me just like, let me put these in place where I think it is. It's the kind of thing I wish I'd go back and like, or if I could, I might like go back and try and make things more like interesting or exciting or funny. But also, I'm not especially good at that, at like the bits or like the playing things up. I think part of that's honestly been for that I am broadcasting out of a closet with roommates, where none of said roommates know I do this. So especially at the beginning, I was very quiet, trying not to make too much noise because I didn't know exactly how much people could hear. And I think I've gotten better at like speaking louder, being more like vibrant as stuff goes on. And I've gotten like more used to it and more potentially lulled into a like false security. Because it's entirely possible that people have been hearing me and just don't say anything. And if they do, thank you. And I'm not going to ask because I don't want to know if you have been hearing me. We do not need to get into that. I'm moving out soon. It's not going to be my problem. Oh yeah, but actually the Greek mythology ranking one, that video has the only comment I've gotten on anything. I'm not gonna call the person like their username, but they said like I think like OMG Atreus is F tier. And I'm like, you know what? Good. Yep, observation done. That's good. If you're gonna have a comment, might as well be that one. So thank you to that person for leaving a comment. Other couple like I don't know, statistics, data, I don't know what to call it. Information I'm just telling you and you probably don't care about. The most liked and I assume also watched video is the first Your Turn to Die with 53 likes. I don't know how many views. Or actually no, I think I had that wrong. I think the other way around. Yeah, I had it wrong. 53 views and 3 likes. That's what it was. Goodness, 53 likes as if. Which is like which makes it it's a lesser known but somewhat recent game. people like, oh, let me look this in here and like see what's up, then play it, and then views like tapped out, dropped pretty quickly after that. But I think some people like, I was still getting like above 10 on some of the later ones, which is cool. People stuck with it. Yeah, it's just interesting and very fun game. If me playing it helped people like find out about it or like enjoy it or play the game themselves, fantastic. Better than I could have hoped for. But like, yeah, overall, I have got a bunch of videos that have 0 views. I think I counted only like 6 videos the past 11 months have any likes at all, and again, just 1 comment. So overall, like, oh, another thing, I received 1 chat message in the past 11 months, and it was from a like spam bot being like, "Hey, click this link for hot babes or whatever," which I was like had to like ban like that account live. The 1 chat interaction I've ever had, which has been interesting being a streamer without any chat. Another idea I was gonna have is so a bunch of streamers just call hey chat, like, oh, this is you chat, and like these chat as a name to refer to the entity of that like mass consciousness. I was like, well, just calling it chat's a little boring. What if I gave it an actual name? It's been long enough. I can't remember what I think it's gonna be like Jaredin, something like that. It was like just like wasn't exactly. It was like one off from that. Actually, picture of this now. Should pull this up. Did I? Never mind. I think I had a source that the image that I did something wrong with and it did not work. Anyway. But yeah, I was just gonna use like an actual name for chat to like refer to him, like, hey, this is you, Jordan, whatever. But no one ever chatted, so I never got to that point. I was never able to pull that one out. I think I had in the back pocket the entire time. But yeah, You're Trying to Die, most successful like videos I did by far, which again makes sense. And I hope that people enjoyed those because I had a lot of fun with them. I still check like every couple of weeks or so, just be like, hey, has the next part of Your Turn to Die come out? I was kind of hoping to like 1 more might have been released before well, I guess today, so I could like be like, hey, it's been months later, but here's some more Your Turn to Die on the channel. But looks that has not happened, and so possibly won't happen. But people can like check out the game on their own and keep an eye on it and finish that, because I definitely want to finish it and see where the story goes. Because look, that game made me cry. Okay, I don't cry super easily. And that game got me to it, I think, like 2 or 3 times with those characters and stuff. So I'm in deep at this point. There's no going back from that. Trying to think of anything else that I want to bring up. Oh, actually, I will mention it with Your Turn to Die. So the fact that the Zanno Thanalis voice, where I talk somewhat like this, was pretty apparently fake. I think relatively early on. Because of Your Turn to Die in particular, where I'm trying to do a bunch of accents and voices. And if you take like this is my standard talk voice, my standard talking voice as the baseline, and I'm trying to make it like higher or lower or give it accents, it's going to build up that baseline. I am not a good enough voice actor trying to manufacture a new baseline at being the ZT voice. And then ramp it off like that to be like, okay, how do I make this try and sound like more feminine or Scottish? So if people were going to pick up on it, I probably picked up on it there and very, very quickly. Because like, this doesn't sound like a like a vaguely refined lower voice doing these tones and dialects. And that point is like, do I stick with it? Do I just drop it? Is this too far? Is like, what's the point here? And I didn't. So I just stuck with it for the rest of the time. And if I was going to drop it, I should have been dead. I was like, nah, I'm in too deep. I'm committed to this for whatever reason. Yeah, I guess reflect back on it as like a whole. I always knew that this channel was going to be short term. I wanted to see what I could do with it in like the year of free time that I had. And honestly, like despite no chat or no comments, 1 comment, sorry, and like very little interaction, this has been a good experience. I do think that I've done what I set out to do, which was play games and learn things and then do whatever else, because this was always a hobby. This was always going to be just like a short-term thing, like experiment, learn some things about like streaming, again, audio setup stuff, play games that like I might not have played otherwise because I wanted to like, because the game reason like keep playing like every week, and do that. And yeah, like there are specific things that I might like, regret, specifically the audio settings. I wish I'd figured those out and gotten those improved much sooner. But like I don't regret doing this or like the way that I did things. It has been fun and a good time, and the way it's set up, it'll, you know, these videos will be here, and people from, you know, months or years or whenever YouTube dies from now. So people keep stumbling across them and, you know, looking at them and doing things, and that's great. And I might not ever know because I don't have a whole ton of reason to like come back to like the ZT account and like check stuff out and stuff. I'm not going to be like, ooh, it's been 2 months. Let me head back and see if there's any new comments in the videos. But the fact that they're there and people, the potential is there, makes me happy. That this can still exist and people can come back to it at a later point. But ultimately I was doing this like because I wanted to, and I thought it was going to be fun, and it was. And if I was relying if I expected like fame and fortune or success or, you know, like a huge following together, I would have stopped at like month 2, like real early on, when like nothing was happening and no one was interacting. But because I knew this was going to be a short-term experiment, and because I was having fun, and in the end that's what I wanted out of it. And if anyone else like got anything out of it, like they checked out a game they might not have otherwise or had a good time, that's incredible. And that's more than I like could have hoped for. So if you actually like saw this or saw anything of mine, thank you for watching it, for enjoying it. I did this for me, but I also hope that could have brought something to someone else at some point. Because you can do things for yourself, but like I feel like it doesn't mean as much unless you're like helping someone else out as well. Maybe helping is a little too generous to myself here. But I don't know, real feelings, I probably can't explain them, but it is gratitude if you enjoyed stuff and part of it at any point in any level. Thank you. Probably going to wrap up. I think that's the most thing I want to talk about. I do want to just briefly mention the scroll on the bottom. That's supposed to be where like the chat goes. And so it's, you know, work properly and scroll up. I don't know if it's broken or not, because again, I just got the one chat and I like banned them immediately afterwards, and I didn't see if they actually showed up or not. There's also like a little like, you know, alert box being like, ooh, you know, get like donations or follows or subscriptions or whatever. So it's like pops up there. Which I had like, I put in like custom text for. Nothing ever happened. There's like a donation link that always has been in like the description of the videos. When I was first setting it up, like, hey, the like donation thing, I didn't put in my credit card information because I was like, that's a bit too far, a bit too high expectations of like what's actually going to happen here. And I just had everything like redirect to like it like gave an option to like, hey, do you want to like send some of the money here to like support the efforts in Ukraine? I just like checked that box. And I'm probably not going to be changing that. So if anyone does happen to like donate or whatever, it'll probably still go to that unless that is no longer working and has been shut down, in which case it's still not going to me. But yeah, that was the things that were supposed to work, and I don't know if they ever did or not. But this has been a overall like a wild ride, more than I expected, and I guess a little bit less than I hoped. But in the end, like my expectations were like very small, which has made this a very good experience. I think something that I'll, you know, I'm glad that I did. We'll take forward moving in whatever else I do. If I ever come back to like this channel and can actually remember the passwords to get into stuff, I don't know like how many years it is down the road, I'd like to, you know, pick stuff up and like keep doing it if I can, because this has been, you know, fun and maybe not relaxing, but a nice way to like spend a couple like hours a week. But I'm probably gonna call it here. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you, I don't know, learned something or laughed or found out what my voice actually sounds like when I'm not trying to do something stupid with it. But yeah, same thing. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time, and take care.